Hello, Emerson Eagles. It's Kirby and me again. We've got another story for you guys tonight. It's another backyard story night, and when we're in the backyard, Kirby just brought me one of his favorite toys. He's eager for me to throw it, but Kirby's not so good. When I throw it, I bet you he won't bring it back. So once I throw this toy for him, he's excited. He wants me to throw this. Once I throw it, I won't see it again. Kirby will be out of here, and you might hear the squeaky toy. Are you ready, buddy? You ready to go get it? Ready? Ready? Okay, go get it. He probably won't be back. All right, tonight's story. It's coming to us from Miss Sietsema. Miss Sietsema, our media center specialist, recommended tonight's story to us. It's that time of year. Just last week we had Nurse Chris and Miss Tina. They had us getting our flu shots, so a lot of students went and got flu shots. A lot of teachers went and got flu shots. And Nurse Chris and Miss Tina are talking to you guys about washing your hands, using soap and water, and not touching your face. When you cough into your elbow. When you sneeze into your elbow, so that all the germs go into your elbow and then not your hands when you're touching everything. It's that time of year. The weather's getting cooler. We're all staying indoors a little bit more at night. So we start spreading germs. And when students get sick, you stay home. And then you come back the next day or the next couple of days, and we pick up where we left off. But when a teacher gets sick, what happens? You have to call a substitute. And I know not everybody loves having a substitute because the substitute doesn't know the routine, and that sometimes makes our students a little bit anxious or a little bit stressed out. Sometimes the substitute doesn't know where they're going, so the students get to kind of take charge a little bit. This one is about when we have a substitute. It's by Liz Garton Scanlon and Audrey Vernick, and then the illustrations are by Chris Roshka. It's called Dear Substitute. Now this story starts out with a note for the reader. So it starts out with a note for you guys. It says, Dear Reader, I can't see, sorry. You guys know me, I should put my glasses on. I should know that by now. Dear Reader, this is not how today was supposed to go. Where's Miss Giordano? And why is this substitute mixing everything up? Move that light to get some glare off of us. Why is this substitute mixing everything up? Oh, and there's poor Mrs. Giordano. See Mrs. Giordano? She's got her thermometer. She doesn't look she's not feeling so good. And here's our student here. Here we go. I think this is our substitute. She looks nice. She looks like she's a nice person. I think she's going to do a good job. Dear substitute, wow, this is a surprise. What are you doing here? Here's Mrs. Giordano. And why didn't she warn us? Yeah, that happens. Teachers don't know they're getting sick. They don't always warn you that they're going to be out. So that substitute shows up, and it's a little bit of a surprise. Here's our classroom. There's that substitute. Looks like a seating chart there. Let's see what the substitute's doing. Dear attendants, you're not quite right today. The substitute doesn't know how to pronounce anything. Poor Harvey and Beja. Poor Alejandria. My name was one of those names that substitutes didn't know how to say either. Here she is at home. Here's our student at home with the light on and the moon in the background. And the next page says, Dear Homework. Dear homework that I stayed up late doing. Guess what? You're not being collected until Mrs. Giordano gets back. I could have shot more baskets last night. After all, that happens too. We have a substitute. Sometimes the substitute gets the directions from the teacher. Don't collect the homework. I'll collect the homework when I get back. And I know the teacher's trying to be nice to the substitute, but Sometimes as a student, you're like, what in the world? I stayed up all night long doing that homework, and they didn't even collect it. Here's Mrs. G. There's Mrs. G. Look at that. We missed you, Mrs. G. Dear Pledge, I pledge allegiance to Mrs. Giordano. I like her more today than I normally do. Yeah. Look at this. I wonder if you guys can guess where they are. Where do you think this page takes place? Look at all those books on a shelf. Maybe the library? Dear library, the substitute says, we're not coming to you, even though it's Tuesday, and I remembered to bring back my book. The substitute brought books from home that she thinks we should check out. That's what she said, and then she laughed. Sometimes that happens too. Our specials get a little mixed up when the substitute is there. Oh, look at this guy. He's cute. Not every classroom has one of those, but we do have one classroom that has some animals in it. Looks like his name is Elmo. I see Elmo up here. Dear Turtle, we're supposed to clean your tank today. It's Tank Tuesday. Everyone knows that. The substitute says, maybe tomorrow. Please don't explode or die of dirt or escape. P.S. Mrs. Giordano would never skip tank cleaning day. So here's poor Elmo. And there's dirt in his tank. Question mark, who knows what that is in his tank? I don't want to know what that is. More dirt, old food. Poor Elmo, he's going to have to wait. Look at that face. Ooh, yes. Class rules. What happens to the class rules when we have a substitute? Dear class rules, we have a reason. We have you for a reason. And one of the rules should be the whole day can't be changed around by a sub named Miss Pelly. Pelly like pelican, she told us, and then she laughed again. Miss Pelly doesn't take anything seriously. There's the substitute. Miss Pelly like a pelican. And here's our student. It says me. Looks like she's drawn herself as a fish. What's the pelican going to do with this little fish? I don't know. Kirby's busy with that toy over there. Oh, look at these guys in a line. Look at those lines with a bubble. I bet but they don't have their hands behind their back. Usually we don't hold hands when we're walking in line. Dear line, yes, I do know I'm supposed to be line leader this week, especially since I was chair stacker last week. I'm sorry that you know who doesn't know how we do things in room 102. You know who, poor Miss Pelly. She doesn't know how they do things. I wonder if somebody could explain it to her. I wonder if there would be one of these students who could be nice and respectful and explain to Miss Pelly, excuse me, Miss Pelly, we have a line leader, and that line leader would be me. Miss Pelly would probably appreciate somebody helping her out. Then, of course, we have to go to lunch. We have to go to lunch. Dear lunch, at least in here, everything's the same, including chocolate milk and trading food with Connor, even though trading food is not exactly allowed. Not exactly allowed. Here we go. They're trading their food. 3 celery sticks with cream cheese and raisins for 1 bag of yummy chips. Not exactly allowed, though. Mrs. Arbo doesn't want to see the food trading happening. There's Miss Pelly. Look at that. She's writing on the board, but she's got eyes in the back of her head. Dear Miss Pelly, Now you care about rules. How did you even see us swapping? I think you have what my mom has. Back of the head eyes. I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking about people being allergic to things. I was just thinking about Connor's yummy chips. And no, it sounds like sometimes we're not being very nice when we tell you not to trade food, but you never know what somebody else is allergic to and what they can't have in their food. So it's important that you keep your food to yourself. Oh, this one hurts my heart. Look at her eyes. I think those might be tears in her eyes. Dear tears, not here, not now. You understand? Here's Miss Pelly. Look at that, she's reading a book. How bad can this substitute be? She's reading a story. I think this is great. Dear Story Time, we usually only get you on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Today's an extra. Miss Pelly says it's that kind of day. She says sometimes you have to mix things up a bit by reading strange little poems instead of the chapter book we were reading before. Kirby's found a lot of cute toys. Ooh, they're reading strange little poems. I wonder what's going on in those strange little poems. Quite a bit of imagination and creativity. Dear world, it turns out I really like poetry, especially funny poetry about pelicans and crocodiles and underwear. Miss Pelly's reading poems about underwear. Substitutes can be funny. Oh, look at here's Elmo. I think that's Elmo. It's a turtle. Dear Turtle, here's a poem I made up. A funny old friend is Turtle, if he doesn't die of the dirtle. He's got a tough shell that helps him not smell. Tomorrow we'll get water and squirtle him. P.S. Miss Pelly helped. So our student friend, wrote a poem about Elmo. Look at that. There's a nice picture of Miss Pelly. She's smiling. It couldn't have been that bad. The sun is shining on her. She has a heart around her. It couldn't have been that bad of a day. Dear Miss Pelly, I wonder what kind of food you bring in your lunch. I might write another poem. It might be about surprises and back of the head eyes and a switched around day that's A-okay and a substitute who likes kiwi fruit. P.S. Do you like kiwi fruit, Miss Pelly? There's Miss G. Miss Giordano at home in her bed. She's got a smile on her face. I think she might be feeling better. Looks like she has her cup of tea back there. I don't see any tissues in her hand, so maybe she is starting to feel better. Dear Mrs. Giordano, it's okay if you're not quite ready to come back tomorrow. We're doing fine. I mean, not exactly like if you were here, but sometimes you've got to mix things up a little, you know? So it's okay if Mrs. G is not feeling quite right. They're doing just fine. And that's how you guys are. When you have a substitute, you are doing just fine. There's the end of our story. Substitutes, it happens, guys. It happens. Our teachers are human. Sometimes our teachers get sick, and our teachers are also parents. A lot of our teachers have little kids at home, and if their child gets sick, they have to stay home with their child. So we get a substitute, and we do the best we can with our substitutes to help them do the best they can for you guys. So if you guys get a substitute, just be kind, be helpful, and remember, your teacher loves you, your teacher misses you, but your teacher will be back when she's feeling, or he is feeling, all better. All right, I'm taking a look. I'm going to turn the story off now because it looks like my cocoa, my hot cocoa, is on its way out here, and I'm hoping that there's extra marshmallows in my cocoa this time. It sounds like, yes, there are. I get a little treat. All right, guys, have a good night. If it's nighttime, have a good night. If you guys are watching this at school with your teacher, I love you. Big hugs. I'll see you guys later.